It's always Rick.
Okay, good.
No one identified yet.
Okay.
It's done.
Good morning. My name is Tim Cruz. I'm the Plymouth County District Attorney. Here with me today is Marshfield Police Chief Phil Tavares and Lieutenant Lisa Buckley of the State Police assigned to the DA's office. We'll give you what we can right now to the best of our ability where we're at, because it is and remains an active and ongoing investigation. Last night, Marshfield Police and the State Police and numerous other state, federal, and local agencies have been investigating the homicide of a woman here in Marshfield. At about 5:51 last night on Monday, Marshfield Police received a 911 call reporting a motor vehicle off the road and carjacking and/or domestic violence incident that was in the vicinity of 758 Main Street, Route 3A in Marshfield. Marshfield Police responded to the area. They located a female victim suffering from life-threatening injuries. Interviews on the scene indicated that the perpetrator may have fled into the woods. A perimeter was set up, and as I said, state, local, and federal agencies, K-9 officers, the Massachusetts Air Wing all responded to support the effort to locate the perpetrator. The victim has now been identified as 48-year-old Shana Warner, S-H-A-N-A, Warner, W-A-R-N-E-R. She was transported to the South Shore Hospital, where she was pronounced dead of her injuries at approximately 6:43 p.m. last evening. As a result of the investigation so far, information was developed indicating that the victim's estranged husband was the person of interest. A bolo, be on the lookout, was issued by the Massachusetts State Police last night for Alan Warner, date of birth 10/22/1970, and the vehicle he was traveling in, a 2013 gray Toyota Corolla with mass registration 4FSZ80. Anyone who sees this vehicle or Alan Warner is asked to contact the state police or the local police immediately. We still consider Warner armed and dangerous. It appears now that this is still an ongoing investigation, and we are still waiting for information from the medical examiner as pertains to manner and means and cause of death. But it appears that Ms. Warner was shot and sustained other life-threatening injuries. So when we get more information regarding the cause of death from the ME's office, we'll be in a better position to relate that at that time. This remains an active and ongoing homicide investigation. And as I said, we consider him armed and dangerous. So if somebody sees him or sees the vehicle that he is in, please call 911. Do not approach. Do not go up to him. Make sure that we stay far away from him. And if Mr. Warner is out there listening or watching this, turn yourself in so that no one else is hurt today. No one wants to see anybody else hurt. And we want this to come to a peaceful resolution, and we will do our job in trying to keep people safe here in the town of Marshfield and the county of Plymouth. I'm now going to defer to Chief Tavares and ask him to say a few words.
Again, I want to thank the media for the coverage on this. With your help, it's only a matter of time before he's discovered. This is just another example of a despicable, cowardly act of domestic violence. It won't be tolerated, and we ask Mr. Warner to turn himself in or call us and let us know where he is so we can end this peacefully. It's only a matter of time, as we said last night, so let's get it done sooner than later. He's well known to the police, and we just ask for your assistance in helping locate him.
To the extent that we can, we'll answer some questions if we can, but if we can't, we can't.
Tim, do you think, or the chief could answer, is there thought that he may still be in this general vicinity, this general area, or do you think that he could be anywhere in the state?
Well, I mean, our information that was put together last night was that he may have left that area in a vehicle. So if he's in that vehicle, he could potentially be anywhere. But be assured that the state police and the local and state and federal police are working on that to try to pinpoint where he's area may be.
Last night you had a lockdown for the school and some of the other public areas. What is the concern right now for the general public that may be watching?
Well, Basically, we believe he came to Marshfield specifically for her. He had been skulking around the area days before this in attempts to locate her, we believe. Now that she's no longer here in Marshfield, we don't have any reason to believe that he is here in Marshfield. At the time, we took every precaution we could. We put the schools in lockdown, after-school sports were canceled, roads were blocked off, residents were asked to stay inside and lock their doors. We have no reason to believe that he's still in this area, but as the DA said, he's mobile. We consider him armed and dangerous, and he could be anywhere at any time. So please, if you see that vehicle or you see him, call 911.
Chief or DA Cruz, can you give us a sense of what set this on here today? Was there some sort of proceeding or an argument? Did you get some witnesses you've been able to?
I think that's still part of the investigation right now, whether or not the relationship between these two were estranged from each other. So I'm not gonna speculate as to what potentially it is, but I think as we get more information, we'll be in a better position to answer that one later.
Well, can you say why she's in that area? Why did she come to that area?
Well, she's been living in Marshfield for a while.
So she was just driving down 3A and...
Well, I mean, once again, that's part of it. I mean, obviously, there's a very active scene. Last night, the police worked all evening to get the information that they could, and we're still trying to piece it together what exactly happened. And, you know, as usual, slow and steady will win the race, and we'll get the information we need.
You said Warner was known to police. Can you talk about what that means? Previous criminal history? Did it have anything to do with domestic violence incidents?
I'll just say that, you know, over a number of years, he's had numerous interactions with the police.
You were in Marshfield?
Not in Marshfield, no. The only interaction we had with him was approximately 4 days ago when he was kind of skulking around the area in the rain.
And the victim called you about that, or
The victim did call 911.
4 days ago?
No, yesterday.
Oh.
Where's he from? Is he from Marshfield? Where's the suspect from?
Our latest address for him is he's living in Rockland.
In Rockland.
Yes.
Tim, was there an active restraining order out?
Not that we're aware of.
What was the result of the skulking around in the rain call? Were you able to locate him, or?
He was called in as a suspicious person on School Street. At the time, he was wearing a camouflage rain jacket, and he stated he was out collecting cans. There was no criminal activity involved at that point.
What was that?
Can you just confirm what date was that?
That was approximately, now it might have been 5 days ago.
Within the past week?
Oh, yes.
Can you talk a little bit why you thought he went into the woods versus the car? Did you find the car? Well, how did that transpire? Like, originally they thought maybe he went into the woods.
Well, he did run from the car that was down the embankment, and there were numerous witnesses. So one actually did see him get into a car and leave, another one didn't.
When it comes to apprehending the suspect at this point, obviously officer safety is a concern when somebody's on the run. Considering a firearm is believed to have been used here, what sort of firepower are you thinking he has? What sort of risk is there if you could address that?
Well, I mean, all I would say is that the reason why we are telling people to seek him, do not approach him, we also believe that the firearm was certainly used in this incident, and we have recovered one. So therefore, I think if anybody sees him, consider him armed and dangerous, call 911. I think there's always a risk, and especially now more than ever, you know, the men and women wearing blue are always doing a great job, and you never know what's gonna happen. And I think everybody should, if you see him, please proceed cautiously, please call 911, do not approach him. I can't stress that enough.
To clarify, that silver Corolla that you believe he's using, is that his vehicle registered to him, or is that someone else's vehicle?
It's someone else's vehicle, but I'm not gonna say who it was in.
Was he licensed for firearms?
We have not made that determination, I don't believe he was licensed.
Do you know if this couple had any children and what is the regards right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into their background per se, but they were married, and they were in the process, they were estranged and going through the proceeding that people go through when that happens.
Do you know if there's a proceeding yesterday?
I don't know the exact specifics of it. You know, once again, I mean, this thing happened last evening, the police have been working around the clock so far on this, and there's a lot of loose ends, but the most important thing right now is making sure he gets apprehended safely and that nobody else gets hurt, and that is priority number one.
Was she able to say anything to police before she passed?
She made statements when she called on 911 to the police, and we're not going to be releasing the 911, but we've certainly heard that, and I think it's fair to say that the call is true.
What did the witnesses?
To track down a vehicle when you have the license plate number?
Well, I'm not going to get into that at this point, but needless to say, whatever information and tools we have, we're gonna be using to make sure we make an apprehension as quick as possible.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about when he had the cans, he was collecting cans, how did you police interact with him? Was there a call, or did the
Yeah.
officers driving by?
You know, that's one of the things that's of the utmost importance is that, you know, it goes back to if you see something, say something, and it may seem like nothing at the time, which at the time it did seem like nothing, but it may help in the investigation later on. He was called in as a suspicious person walking in the rain wearing camouflage on the side of the road, and the officers went and investigated. He wasn't involved in any criminal activity at the time. However, it did give us the ability to document him here in Marshfield at a specific time at a specific street that may be helpful later on in the investigation. But he wasn't involved in any criminal activity at that time.
So did his wife know that he was in town this past week?
I don't have any knowledge of that.
Were there witnesses to this murder?
There were witnesses that made observations at or about the scene during that time frame.
What did they tell you?
Well, that's gonna be part of the investigation at this point, and as we put those together, then it'll be in a better fashion to go forward.
Could you just clarify, did she make the 911 call after she was shot, or did she see him and call for help?
I think it's still something we're trying to piece together. The 911 call is, like I said, it's a chilling phone call, and obviously there was a lot of things going on at that time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.